good evening. Tonight is the final part of OcPOEber for 2022. I hope you will all enjoy this episode. Poems by Edgar Allen Poe. This is called Israfel. In heaven a spirit doth dwell, whose heartstrings are a lute. None sing so wildly well as the angel Israfel, and the giddy stars, so legends tell, ceasing their hymns, attend the spell of his voice all mute. Tottering above in her highest noon, the enamored moon blushes with love, while to listen the red levin, with rapid Pleiades even, which are 7, pauses in heaven, as they say the starry choir and the other listening things, that Israfel's fire is owing to that wire, by which he sits and sings, the trembling, living wire of those unusual strings. But the skies that angel trod, where deep thoughts are a duty, where love's a grown-up God, where the hoary glances are imbued with all the beauty which we worship in a star. Therefore, thou art not wrong, Israfel, who despisest an unpassioned song. To thee the laurels belong, best bard, because the wisest merrily live and long. The ecstasies above with thy burning measures suit, thy grief, thy joy, thy hate, thy love, with the fervor of thy lute. Well, may the stars be mute. Yes, heaven is thine, but this is a world of sweets and sours. Our flowers are merely flowers. In the shadow of thy perfect bliss is the sunshine of ours. If I could dwell where Israfel hath dwelt, and he where I, he might not sing so wildly well a mortal melody, while a bolder note than this might swell from my lyre within the sky. That was Israfel. This one, very short, is called 2, and the next one is called 2F. I heed not that my earthly lot hath little of earth in it, that years of love have been forgot in the hatred of a minute. I mourn not that the desolate are happier, sweet, than I, but that you sorrow for my fate, who am a passer-by. Beloved, amid the earnest woes that crowd around my earthly path, drear path, alas, where grows not even one lonely rose. My soul, at least, a solace in the dreams of thee, and therein knows an Eden of bland repose. And thus thy memory is to me like some enchanted far-off isle in some tumultuous sea, some ocean throbbing far and free with storms, but where, meanwhile, serenest skies continually just over that one bright island smile. To the river. Fair river, in thy bright, clear flow of crystal wandering water, thou art an emblem of the glow of beauty, of unhidden heart, the playful maziness of art, in old Alberto's daughter. But when within thy wave she looks, which glistens then and trembles, why then the prettiest of brooks her worshipper resembles. For in his heart, as in thy stream, her image deeply lies. His heart, which trembles at the beam of her soul-searching eyes. Tamerlane. Kind solace in a dying hour, such father is not now my theme. I will not madly deem that power of earth may shrive me out of sin. Unearthly pride that reveled in, I have no time to dote or dream. You call it hope, that fire of fire. It is but agony of desire. If I can hope, O God, I can. Its fount is holier, more divine. I would not call thee fool, old man, but such is not a gift of thine. Know thou that the secret of a spirit, bowed from its wild pride into shame, O yearning heart, I did inherit thy withering portion with the fame. The searing glory which hath shone amid the jewels of my throne. Halo of hell, and with a pain not hell shall make me fear again. O craving heart, for the lost flowers and sunshine of my summer hours. The undying voice of that dead time, with its interminable chime, rings in the spirit of a spell upon thy emptiness a knell. I have not always been as now, the fever diadem on my brow I claimed, and won unsurprisingly, hath not the same fierce heirdom given Rome to the Caesar, this to me, the heritage of a kingly mind and a proud spirit which hath striven triumphantly with humankind. On mountain soil I first drew life. The mists of the Taglay have shed nightly their dews upon my head, and I believe the winged strife and the tumult of the headlong air have nestled in my very hair. So late from heaven that dew, it fell, mid dreams of an unholy night, upon me with the touch of hell, while the red flashing of the light from the clouds that hung like banners over appeared to my half-closing eye, the pageantry of monarchy and the deep trumpet thunder's roar came hurriedly upon me, telling of a human battle where my voice, my own voice, silly child, was swelling. Oh, how my spirit would rejoice and leap within me at the cry, the battle cry of victory. The rain came down upon my head, unsheltered, and the heavy wind rendered me mad and deaf and blind. It was but man, I thought, who shed laurels upon me. In the rush, the torrent of the chilly air gurgled within my ear, the crush of empires with the captive's prayer, the hum of suitors in the tone of flattery round a sovereign throne. My passions from the hapless hour usurped a tyranny which men have deemed, since I have reached to power my innate nature, be it so. But Father, there lived one who then in my boyhood, when their fire burned with still intenser glow. For passion must with youth expire, even then who knew this iron heart in woman's weakness had a part. I have no words, alas, to tell the loveliness of loving well, nor would I now attempt to trace the more than beauty of a face, whose lineaments upon my mind are shadows upon the unstable wind. Thus I remember having dwelt some page of early lore upon, with loitering eye, till I have felt the letters with their meaning melt to fantasies with none. Oh, she was worthy of all love, love as in infancy was mine. 'Twas such an angel mind's above my envy, her young heart, the shine on which my every hope and thought were incense, then a goodly gift. For they were childish and upright, pure as her young example taught. Why did I leave it, and, adrift, trust to fire within for light? We grew in age and love together, roaming the forest and the wild, my breast her shield in the wintry weather, and when the friendly sunshine smiled, and she would mark the opening skies, I saw no heaven but in her eyes. Young love's first lesson is the heart. For that sunshine and those smiles, when from our little cares apart, and laughing at her girlish wiles, I'd throw me on to her very being, and pour my spirit out in tears. There was no need to speak the rest, no need to quiet any fears of her who'd ask no reason why, but turned on me her quiet eye. Yet more than worthy of love, my spirit struggled with and strove, when on the mountain peak alone, ambition lent it a new tone. I had no being but in thee, the world, in all it did contain, in the earth, the air, the sea, its joy, its little lot of pain. That was new pleasure, the ideal, dim vanities of dreams by night, and dimmer nothings which were real, shadows and a more shadowy light, parted upon the misty wings, and so confusedly became thine image in a name, two separate yet most intimate things. I was ambitious, have you known? The passion, Father, you have not, a cottager, I marked a throne of half the world as all my own, and murmured at such a lowly lot, but just as any other dream upon the vapor of the dew, my own had passed, did not the beam of the beauty which, while it throw, the minute, the hour, the day, oppress my mind with the double loveliness. We walked together on the crown of a high mountain which looked down, afar from its proud and natural towers of rock and forest on the hills, the dwindled hills, begirt with bowers and shouting with 1,000 rills. I spoke to her of power and pride, but mystically in such guise that might deem it naught beside the moment's converse. In her eyes I read, perhaps too carelessly, a mingled feeling within my own. The flush on her bright cheek to me seemed to become queenly throne, too well that I should let it be, white in the wilderness, alone. I wrapped myself in grandeur then, and donned a visionary crown. Yet it was not that fantasy had thrown her mantle over me, but that among the rabble, men, lion ambition is chained down and crouches to the keeper's hand. Not so in deserts where the grand, the wild, the terrible conspire with their own breath to fan his fire. Look round to see now thee on Samarcand. Is she not queen of the earth, her pride above all cities? In her hand their destinies, in all beside of glory which the world hath known, stands she not nobly and alone, falling her veriest stepping stone shall form the pedestal of a throne. And who her sovereign? Timur, he whom astonished people saw striding over empires, a diadem outlaw. O human love, thou spirit given on earth of all we hope in heaven, which fallest into soul like rain upon the siroc withered plain, and failing in thy power to bless, but leavest the heart a wilderness. Idea which bindest life around with musics of so strange a sound, and beauty of so wild a birth. Farewell, for I have won the earth. When hope, the eagle that towered, could see no cliff beyond him in the sky, his pinions were bent droopingly, and homeward turned his softened eye. 'Twas sunset, when the sun will part, there comes a sullenness of heart. To him who still would look upon the glory of the summer sun, that soul will have hate the evening mist, so often lovely, and will list to the sound of the coming darkness, known to those whose spirits hearken, as one who in the dream of night would fly, but cannot from a danger nigh. What though the moon, the white moon, shed all the splendor of her noon? Her smile is chilly, and her beam is that time of dreariness, will seem so like you gather in your breath a portrait taken after death. And boyhood is a summer sun, whose waning is the dreariest one, for all we live to know is known, and all to seek to keep hath flown. Let life then, as the dayflower, fall, and the noonday beauty which is all. I reached my home no more, for all had flown who made it so. I passed from out the mossy door, and though my tread was soft and low, a voice came from the threshold stone of one I had earlier known. Oh, I defy thee, hell, to show on the beds of fire that burn below a humbler heart, a deeper woe. Father, I firmly do believe, I know, for death who comes for me from regions of the blessed afar, where there is nothing to deceive, hath left his iron gate ajar, and the rays of truth you cannot see are flashing through eternity. I do believe that Eblis hath a snare in every human path. Else how, when the holy grove and I wandered of the idol love, whose daily scents his snowy wings, with incense of burnt offerings, from the most unpolluted things, whose pleasant bowers are yet so riven, above with trellised rays from heaven, no mote may shun, no tiniest fly, the lighting of the eagle eye. How was it that ambition crept unseen amid the revels there, till growing bold he laughed and wept in the tangles of love's very hair? This one is also called Two. The bowers whereat in dreams I see the wantonest singing birds, our lips and all thy melody of lip begotten words. thine eyes in heaven of heart enshrined, then desolately fall, O God, on my funeral mind, like starlight on a pall. Thy heart, I wake and sigh, and sleep to dream till day, of the truth that gold can never buy, of the baubles that it may. A dream. In visions of the dark night, I have dreamed of joy departed, but the waking dream of life and light hath left me broken-hearted. Ah, was it not a dream by day to him whose eyes are cast on things around him with a ray turned back upon the past? That holy dream, while all the world were chiding, hath cheered me as a lovely beam, a lonely spirit guiding. What though that life through storm and night so trembled from afar? What could there be more purely bright in truth's day star? The lake, too, in spring of youth, it was my lot, the haunt of the wide world, a spot, the which I could not love the less, so lovely was the loneliness of a wild lake with black rock bound, and the tall pines that towered around. But when the night had thrown her pall upon that spot, as upon all, and the mystic wind went by, murmuring in melody, then I would awake to the terror of the lone lake. Yet that terror was not fright, but a tremulous delight, a feeling not the jeweled mine could not teach or bribe me to define, nor a love, although the love were thine. Death was in that poisonous wave, and in its gulf a fitting grave for him who thence could solace bring to his alone imagining, whose solitary soul could make an Eden of that dim lake. Spirits of the dead. Thy soul shall find itself alone, mid dark thoughts of the gray tombstone. Not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again. In death around thee, in their will, shall overshadow thee. Be still. The night, though clear, shall frown, and the stars shall not look down from their high thrones in the heaven, with light like hope to mortals given. But their red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever which would cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish. Now are visions never to vanish. From thy spirit shall they pass, no more like dewdrops from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God, is still. In the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy, yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token. How it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries. Imitation. A dark, unfathomed tide of interminable pride. A mystery and a dream. Should my early life seem, I say that a dream was fraught with a wild and waking thought of beings that have been, which my spirit hath not seen. Had I let them pass me by with a dreaming eye, let none of earth inherit that vision on my spirit. Those thoughts I would control as a spell upon a soul. For that bright hope at last, in that light time, have passed, and my worldly rest hath gone with a sigh as it passed on. I care not, though it perish, with a thought I then did cherish. Dreams. Oh, that my young life were a lasting dream, my spirit not awakening till the beam of an eternity should bring the morrow. Yes, though that long dream were of hapless sorrow, 'twere better than the cold reality of waking life to him whose heart must be, and hath been still upon the lovely earth, a chaos of deep passion from his birth. But should it be that dream eternally continuing, as dreams have been given to me? In my young boyhood, should it thus be given, 'twere folly still to hope for higher heaven. For I have reveled when the sun was bright, I, the summer sky, in the dreams of the living light. And loveliness have left my very heart, inclines of imaginary apart from my own home, with beings that have been of mine own thought. What more could I have seen? From my remembrance shall not pass, from some power or spell had bound me. 'Twas the chilly wind came over me in the night, and left behind its image on my spirit, or the moon shone on my slumbers in her lofty noon. Too coldly were the stars, however, it was that dream that the night wind let it pass. I have been happy, though in a dream. I have been happy, and I love the theme. Dreams in their vivid coloring of life, as in that fleeting shadowy, misty strife of semblance with reality, which brings to the delirious eye more lovely things of paradise of love and all my own than young hope in his sunniest hour hath ever known. A pain. How shall the burial rite be read? The solemn song to be sung, the requiem for the loveliest dead that ever died so young. Her friends are gazing on her, and on her gaudy bier, and weep, oh, to dishonor dead beauty with a tear. They loved her for her wealth, and they hated her for her pride. But she grew feeble in health, and they love her that she died. They tell me, while they speak of her costly broidered pall, that my voice is a growing weak, that I should not sing at all, or that my tone should be tuned to such a solemn song, so mournfully, that the dead may feel no wrong. But she is gone above, and young hope at her side, and I am drunk with love of the dead who is my bride. Of the dead who lies, all perfumed there, with the death upon her eyes, and the life upon her hair. Thus on the coffin loud and long I strike, the murmur sent through the grey chambers to my song shall be the accompaniment. Thou diedest in life's June, but thou did not see to die too fair. Thou didst not die too soon, nor with too calm an air. For more than friends on earth, thy life and love are riven to join the untainted mirth of more than thrones in heaven. Therefore, to see thee in this night, I will no requiem raise, but waft thee in thy flight with the pain of the old days. I have one more, and then I will wrap it up for tonight. Alone. From childhood's hour I have not been. As others were, I have not seen. As others saw, I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved, I had loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of all, a most stormy life was drawn. From every death, a good and ill, the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm, in the cloud that took the form when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. Thus concludes OcPOEber 2022. It is at this time I would like to say that I, for the next month, will be taking a break from readings to focus more on gaming streams, as I have a very busy month in November. Many things coming out next month, and I will need to capitalize on that. I apologize for anyone who would like more ASMR, but I do need to take the month. I will return in December with more cocktails and cosmic horror. And from there, we will be around halfway done with that series, and we will be moving on to something else, which I have already planned out and am very excited for. Anyways, yes, we will continue OcPOEber next year in October. This is not the last OcPOEber, so hopefully you enjoyed this year's, and I am very much so looking forward to next year's. Thank you for joining me,